Go dive in grease with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead he had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to Parents Lounge, drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. Hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And he asked me like a fake God dead, go up on the bridge. But the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure to staying sane.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special May the 4th the Parents Lounge. I am your host, Jason Gowan. As Jamie Kaler is running a little late because his dinner plans are running longer than expected. So filling in until he gets here and staying with us the rest of the program is the hilarious Eddie Pence. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm hanging. I'm hanging.
I'm
on the East Coast, so my demons.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm.
Are they asleep?
They are. Well, they're in their tombs, but they we were kind of talking before the show started. Like I'm living Moon Knight's life, but through my children, and that's what's happening.
Wake up, you don't know where you are, where you've been, and you're covered in blood.
Yeah. Well, actually, the one we call the Dark Lord, he 2 or 3 days ago, this is the second time it's happened. I catch him when I wake up from a nap and he's over top of me with a pillow. I'm like, oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Yeah.
You're gonna have to chain him to the bed like Mark Spector. You're gonna have to put an ankle bracelet on him.
We're close. We're close to that.
Oh man! So
I feel like you're the right person to be here for today. I'm the least qualified person to be here today. So tell me about the significance of today,
May the 4th. I can't believe I'm still. Jamie told me before I came on. He's like, Jason has never seen Star Wars.
Correct.
Which blows my mind because just looking at your backdrop of your set there, it's like how is Star Wars not included in there somehow?
So I wasn't allowed when I was really little. I don't know what my father's beef with star-based programs is, but the guy did not want me watching it.
Those fantasy stories, man, they send you down the wrong road.
Well, I feel like if he had like done his research, like I feel like he would have enjoyed Slave Leia in some way. Like I know about the characters, but
you never like later on in life decided to go ahead and like pick it up and watch it.
So here's what happened, and It became a thing that anybody who finds out I have not seen Star Wars loses their shit.
Well, I don't feel that bad because when I married my wife, who I've been together with for 20 years, when we got together, she had never seen Star Wars. And we're all of the same generation, too. So she'd never seen it either. So, like, I know what it's like to be with someone who's never seen Star Wars.
Now, did she go willingly?
No, she fought it. She fought me. Like, at this point, she's like, I haven't seen it at this far along. Why would I want to see it now? What's the point? And I'm like, just stop. Just see it.
Yeah. Kaylor and our normal co-host Kate, they have tried desperately to get. They're like, you need to do a watch along, and we get to watch you watch it for the first time, and I have resisted.
Why? Why are you resisting?
Because people freak the fuck
It's
out.
just out of spite. You just want to do it out of spite at this
It's
point.
raw spite at this time. You want to know the kicker? Here, I'm about to add insult to the wound. I have only, in the Star Wars universe, I have only seen 3 things.
Okay.
Both Ewoks films and the Christmas special with B. Arthur.
You've seen the 3 worst things Star Wars has ever made, and I'm including the prequels.
I don't see everybody. But people make that joke. It's dead to me. I don't understand.
Oh my god. I look. Honestly, I would think if I was in your position, I probably wouldn't watch it either because I'm a spite-driven person by nature. And when everyone wants, like with Breaking Bad, everyone's like, "How come you've never seen Breaking Bad?" I'm like, I never saw it. And they're like, "You have to watch it." I'm like, I don't want to see it now. Just because you're telling me I have to see Breaking Bad, I don't want to see it. I'm like, what about Better Call Saul? I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to see it because you want me to see it so bad.
Well, and they did that with Avatar, and then I broke and actually watched Avatar, and now I wished I hadn't. And
yeah, I'd be in that. I wish I had never seen Avatar.
So
I'm in the same boat.
I do. Yes, I do enjoy watching people freak out.
Most spite-driven people do. That's the point of being spiteful. I
mean, you've heard a little bit about my children now. I have nothing but spite now.
You feed on spite.
It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of spite here.
Well, thing is with Star Wars, it is such a generational thing that if you did not watch it as a child, and I'm talking about we're children of the 80s. I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s. I experienced Star Wars in the 80s, and there's a lot of nostalgia there. So there's a blind spot for it. And then I think children of the late 90s, early 2000s grew up with the prequels, and they have that blind spot for it. And now these people my son's age grew up with the sequel trilogy, and there's that blind spot for it. So it's a nostalgia-driven thing, and I don't think if you don't experience it as a child, I don't know if you can get into it as an adult.
No, but the thing is,
could be wrong.
You can kind of skate by to some degree because it's so ingrained in pop culture that I know who all the characters are.
You pick it up. Yeah, you pick it up.
I know the basic story. I know, Darth Vader's people's dads. I know that, or Luke. I know those things.
He's 2 people's dad, not people's. There's not a lot of people's dad, but he's 2.
Just 2. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we didn't cover a lot of it, does it? Does it go with all the people he hooked up with?
Well, we just assume he only impregnated one person, but we could be wrong. The Clone Wars lasted a couple of years, so.
And it's Natalie Portman, right? See, so I without seeing it, kind of know.
You put it together. You're a smart guy.
Yeah, and I rode Star Tours at Disney, so
you're set. You're practically an expert in Star Wars. You saw Star Tours.
Well, I'm going to be in Los Angeles next week, and I'm going to Disneyland, and I'm going to try this Rise of the Resistance because they say it's fantastic.
Now, I've been on Rise of the Resistance, and as a Star Wars fan, it's a great ride. But as a fan of theme park rides, it's an amazing ride because it's literally like 15 to 20 minutes long, and it sort of encapsulates every different type of theme park ride. I mean, there's a movement part to it. There's the visual aspect. It's completely immersive. So in that aspect of it, I think you'll enjoy it as a theme park ride enthusiast, not just a Star Wars enthusiast.
I'm excited to try it.
It's a very fun ride.
Our good friend Jamie Kaylor has arrived.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to bring him in. Hello, sir.
I honestly, the best opening of any show we've ever had. I watched. I got here like a minute late, and I watched. And it was
he kept saying, keep going, so I
was like, "Don't bring me in." I was enjoying the show. I just think it's so funny because I know, and it was so great. Thank you, Eddie, for doing the show, by the way. But
thanks for having me.
Star Wars, and obviously, he keeps his grooming to kind of keep the Han Solo look going.
I have my gun too, so.
Yeah, you do. And then on the other hand, Jason, who, by the way, I mean, you can see from his surrounding area there, that he is a monster Marvel fan, and
Yeah,
which we talked about before we went on. Like we were we hadn't.
And it was recently that he was like, "Oh, I've never seen Star Wars," and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he's like, "I've never seen it." We want to do a watch along with him, like the same way I want to watch. I want to do watch
Spite's coming out.
Watching the videos that kids are watching today, like Megan the Stallion. I try to watch some of the videos, and my daughters are in the room, and I'm like, "Holy shit! You can't watch this. It's terrible." And really, yes, Cheryl.
Yes, Cheryl. It is live.
It's live.
Yeah. Oh, it's live, baby.
7:10 Thursday.
We have the
Wednesday.
Mandalorian. My buddy Brendan Wayne, who is John Wayne's grandson, is coming into the show, and he plays the Mandalorian. He's not the face. Pedro Pascal plays that, but Pedro Pascal shoots like 1 week a season.
Yeah. Greatest acting gig of all time.
It's the greatest acting gig of all time. And then my buddy's like, he's the guy. He's doing the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Super cool.
And the Mandalorian that's a show on Disney Plus, right?
Yes, it is. Interesting.
This is the
Here's what's funny.
right here.
And here's what's great about this. I have both extremes. Cuckoo Pants Star Wars fan and never seen it before. I am totally in the middle. I've seen them all. I went to the movies when was the first one? 77?
77.
I went to the movies to see it. And I was like, yeah, it was fun. But I didn't leave like piss my pants, curl up in a fetal position and just start sobbing like, holy shit, how do I get back in to see that again?
Right.
I never thought for 1 second like, oh yeah, that's going to be this, whatever this little movie is going to be an integral part of society for the rest of my life here on Earth. I never saw that.
Massive.
It was not even my favorite movie by a long shot that year.
See, I saw it. They did a re-release in 79. Lucas re-released everything in 79 before the release of Empire Strikes Back in 1980. And that's when I was old enough to go and see it in the theater. So I saw it in the re-release in 79. Yeah. And I had the reaction most people had. It blew my mind. Like, I was like, this is the greatest thing. And I literally sat there. My mom let us sit in the movie theater and let the movie, because back then you could just stay in the theater and the movie would start playing again.
That's right.
And we just sat there 3 straight times. We let it go for like 6 straight hours. And I was just
what blew your mind? Pew 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 pew.
It was seeing such incredible special effects at that point. I'd never seen special effects like that before in my life. As a kid, I mean, I was only like 6, so the bar was low. But I'd never seen anything like that before. And then I remember because when the cantina scene came on, I would cover my eyes because I was frightened of the cantina scene. But the scene that hooked me is at the end when the Falcon comes in and knocks Vader out of the way, and Han goes, "All right, kid, blow this thing and let's go home," or whatever he says. That was one of the greatest moments I remember watching as a child.
I think you know exactly what he says. Don't fuck with us. You quote it. Don't.
All right, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home.
Boom! You don't throw away those. I know you don't. This means every word.
But yeah,
every word he said just bored into your soul. It feels like
pretty much.
Somewhere on that shelf, when he said those things, one of those action figures shed a single tear.
Yeah. It's still shocking that I've seen them all. Empire Strikes Back is really good.
Yes, that's the best one.
What's the third one?
Return of the Jedi.
Hurrying to sport for delay. Address again, dude. This is the Mandalorian. He's like, hurrying to you sport for delay. Address again. Why are you coming to me? It's virtual. You dipshit. He's driving to my house.
Driving over.
I'm not gonna lie. If he doesn't show up in the outfit, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
He's driving to my house.
Tell him you can do it warm or you can do it cold. Just tell him that. You can do it warm or you can do it cold.
Your computer, I told him. What a ding dong. What a crazy pants Magoo. This is why they don't let him be the face of the Mandalorian. They're like, oh, he's borderline illiterate, but he fits
walk around.
He's like Johnny Bravo. Like he fits the suit perfectly. He's like, oh shit. Listen. I like them. I don't want to be. I'm not the guy who's like, oh, F you. By the way, Breaking Bad's really good. You need to watch.
I wondered when he was going to bring it up. I knew he wasn't going to let it.
No.
There was no way he said
I don't
in
want
there.
to. I don't want to.
I did that. I've only done that with a hand. Like, listen, like you guys, I operate on spite. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
What makes life worth living?
Do you have a bit about that? About
Spite?
I live by spite. Oh my gosh!
No,
people
someone should write one.
You know, I was starting to make a list of who are the worst people on. Cheryl Gibson. No, that was Greg Grunberg. I'm making a list of the worst people on earth lately. Like, do you do this? So on the list so far, I forget them all. I need to write them down. But there are people who just put out cigarette butts wherever, or just flip cigarette butt in the street.
Those people suck. Those
Horrible.
people suck.
The people who drive 55 miles an hour in the left-hand lane.
In the left-hand lane, those people suck.
I can't remember.
I hate people that back into parking spots. Those are the worst people.
They're so gear. Like those are the people who like lay out their clothes the night before, right? They're like, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I don't have time. I don't have time.
I got to be able to get out of this spot as fast as they literally drive past the spot. You're like, okay, they're leaving the parking lot. I'm gonna pull in, and then they start backing in. I'm like, you mother.
It's like a 7-point turn by the time.
Oh, I hate it. It's always a guy in like a Yukon too.
He backed in.
It's like in the first Austin Powers when he does like the 20-point K turn.
And what's funny is like 5 spots over, there was like 7 spots available. He literally could park sideways, but people.
Yeah, that's every Costco in America.
People who hit the horn points. Wait, go back to that. People who hit the horn, what?
0.3 cents.
Oh, that one.
Oh
my
God. I was behind a guy yesterday and he wasn't going, and in the back of my head it was like, what's the etiquette? How much time?
Pull through is acceptable. A pull through is acceptable.
I'm okay with a pull through.
Pull through is fine.
Oh, I have no problem with a pull through.
But a back end, no.
The back end's terrible, but if you have the full on pull through, absolutely.
Absolutely. More power to you. That's the lottery of parking.
I never get it right though when I pull through because I'm not used to it. So I'm like,
you're like, how far am I? Am I too far?
Or I'm still blocking the spot behind me. Like I never, for some reason, my brain doesn't go log. It's like the square peg in a round circle. I'm like,
oh, you don't see the concrete strip right there between the spots?
Dude. Well, here's what's weird. Sometimes they have the telephone pole, and then the pole has a base around it, and you're like,
right, the little triangle base, the diamond base.
Have you done that where you're just like, oh, smooth sailing, bonk, boom. You're like, oh, dude, oh, I did that when I was younger. I went to back out of a spot, and you scrape the pole, just scrape it, right down the side of your car. Terrible. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Where did this come from? May the 4th be with you. Some idiot who was like, hey, man, he was like super high.
I covered this on some other show I was doing.
Do you know the backstory?
It might have been It just started literally like 12, 15 years ago. It's not that old of a concept, I don't think. Maybe it's a little bit older than that, but it's not like
just one more marketing guy who was like, we could sell a lot of shit on May 4th. You know that, right?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
It's not as old as Star Wars. It's not
Mike
like
Tyson
that old.
Started in Cheryl. Is that what you're saying, or he?
Because it sounds like a lift.
We did a show on 420, and I had no idea. And did you know where 420 came from?
I always thought it wasn't the original thing. It was the call sign. It was the police call sign for marijuana, but it's not, right?
It was a bunch of dudes. What was that? It was some college and or a high school.
It was a high school, and they would meet by the statue at 420 to smoke up, and it somehow got to the Grateful Dead's people and blew up from there.
And it was just one of those things where it just, that's like The Outliers, where he talks about the kids in the Greenwich Village wearing the Converse All-Stars, or I forget how it goes, but whatever it is, there's one seed and it takes off, and 420 is kind of that. And I feel like May the 4th is in that same, you know what, we should send Mixon the link. He honestly, we should have done a trivia quiz, because honestly, Eddie, John, would you give him a run for his money in Star Wars trivia?
He probably could. I'm awful at trivia.
That's just because you have short attention span theater brain.
It's true.
I love you. I love that you're. Is this because obviously you're part of the Garmy with the Ralph Garman, the Ralph Report. Are all
Yeah.
your little action figures up there? Is this your?
This is my bat cave.
Is this your bat cave?
This is my bat cave. It's my Jedi
Are
temple.
you
It's more of a
more
Jedi
and more
temple.
like Ralph every day?
Yeah, I hope not. Don't tell him that.
Too. Our buddy Ralph Garman, for those who you don't know, did you already introduce that he's on the Ralph Report, which is seriously one of the best daily shows. It's on Patreon, the Ralph Report, that Eddie and Eddie co-hosts with Ralph Garman. Fantastic show.
Good times.
Yeah. Good times, man. Good times. Anyway, I saw them all. I haven't watched. Please don't tell my buddy that I never watched The Mandalorian. I haven't. It's on the list.
You can't get mad because I don't watch Breaking Bad.
I tried to watch Rogue One. I watched. I remember that there's a blurry one with Samuel L. Jackson, I think's in it, and the Natalie Portman one.
Well, that's Attack. That's all the prequels. That's 1, 2, and 3.
The 3 prequels are horrible, right?
They're not good.
Okay.
They're not good.
And yet people were like, no, keep making these. This is fantastic what you're doing.
But aren't they not? But isn't there a thing with the numbers of them? Like they happen first, and then 1, 2, and 3 were made.
The original.
The
original Star Wars was.
Can we interject really quick? Freddie B, he's part of the Garmy. He's like, at what point will you get your name on the marquee with Ralph, Eddie?
When Ralph leaves the show, probably. And it becomes my show.
Honestly, the way he lives his life, that might be soon.
It could happen any month.
It might be happening as we speak. He might be lying there trying to hit the life alert button around his chest. I'm not sure yet.
Laying on the kitchen floor.
I liked the last one, the Adam Driver one. That was pretty
the
good.
Sequel trilogy. Yeah, for Jason, the way it came out, they came out with. They did Star Wars.
So is this how they came out?
Yes.
4, 5,
6, 2,
3, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. That's the way Lucas did it. But you can't tell me that series of films is better than like the Batman trilogy, or I would argue Harry Potter.
Which Batman?
Harry Potter.
Michael. But Harry Potter better than Star Wars? No.
Look at this. Okay, I love the whole mythology of Star Wars, and people are so excited about it. But there's some really bad films in that.
There are. There's probably only 2 really good films.
Yeah. Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and I was a big fan. I know it's a divisive issue, but I was a big fan of Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Is that the one What happens in that one?
It was directed by Rian Johnson, where Luke Skywalker dies. That's the one where.
I thought that one was
the middle one. I thought that was a very good one.
Our fan Genevieve actually sent her Star Wars tattoo sleeves in pictures of it. I'll pop those up here real quick.
Oh, nice. Look at all the TIE fighters.
Oh, you brought John in. That's awesome. Get him in. Get Johnny Boy in.
There he is.
All right, guys. Can y'all hear me?
Dude, go sideways. Go horizontal.
Sorry.
There we go.
There we go. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
All right.
Are you on indoor? You look like you're on indoor.
I'm getting car
No, out in Scottsdale. There we go. Yeah, we're just driving home from Costco.
Did you back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't need to see that part. Hey, all right, man. Listen, Star Wars, John. What's the deal?
What do y'all want to do?
I want you to talk about and why you love it so much, and why, considering they're mediocre films at best, there's not even one like film where you're like they're fine. It's fine. No one gets hurt. There was some. I mean, the stormtroopers can't shoot for shit. Why are they even in the thing? Did one stormtrooper ever kill any main character in any episode of Star Wars? It's a running joke with that pew pew pew.
No, they did. They killed an Ewok. You know.
Yeah, Ewok got killed.
Like the one that's smoking. Yeah. That's why they were throwing rocks at him from a bridge. You know. Yeah. They had to take that seriously. You got one, and they just jumped up there. You know, at the end of the movie, you see all the helmets from. They cooked and ate those stormtroopers.
Oh, they ate those stormtroopers.
Wait, Ewoks ate the stormtroopers?
Oh, absolutely. They're bears. I mean, they're adorable bears, but they're bears.
They're carnivores. They're
Because they
carnivores.
never attacked, like in the Ewoks movies, they never attacked Wilford Brimley or any of the kids.
Well, they were going to eat Han Solo. They were literally trying to cook Han Solo.
But they weren't going to eat her because she's a princess, you know?
Yeah.
The whole cannibal rule doesn't apply because, you know, royalty.
Hey, John, real quick. Is your window open?
Probably one of them. I don't know.
Dude, close your window. What are you, high? Stop this.
No.
He's got headphones on. He can't hear.
Yeah.
I can hear the road going by.
Well, I mean, I'm in the car. What do you want me to do?
Honestly, this feels like a Star Wars movie where you're like, I guess it's fine. It's fine. No one's getting hurt. Could it be done better? Yeah, it could be done way better.
Do we all have to wear gray shirts? Is that how you get on this show?
That's the uniform. Yeah, you didn't get
the uniform for this show?
Yeah. I'm not dressed for this day. I'm dressed for my day earlier.
I watched it. They were in the semis, right?
Oh man, like all I was cheering for was overtime, and I got what I wanted.
What is that? Is there a creature or something? What is that name?
This is the best. This is the best. Freddie called it. John's the guy who calls into the radio show while listening to the show.
I mean, I got my headphones on. What you're hearing now is my younger kid. But going back to what you were saying earlier, the draw to Star Wars is not the movies. The draw to Star Wars is everything you see on Eddie's shelf right behind him. It's those toys. Yeah. Like, George didn't make much from the movies. He made the entirety of his fortune from the toys.
Off toys.
And it's because all three of us got that crap as kids, and as we grew up, we all kept collecting the more expensive version of it. I know Jason's got like helmets and masks and props and things. I mean, Jason or Eddie, I'm seeing figures there. Man, Lego sets. I've spent. I don't want to say how much I've spent over the years on.
I spent the college tuition on Lego sets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and even still, like new or secondhand, the amount of money people spend on those things is unreal. But there's a deep love and connection.
There was no merchandise for films until Star Wars. There would be no Marvel merchandise if it wasn't for Star Wars. It started it all.
Well, the action figures I remember as a kid seeing the Star Wars stuff in stores, but I always remember thinking, God, He-Man could kick these guys' asses.
Well, do you remember
everything before that was 12-inch G.I. Joe dolls? It was Lucas who came out with a 3 3/4-inch action figure, and that sort of set the stage for everything in the 80s as far as toys went.
Not even just that, but like think about like what he did back then. Like, do you remember as a kid? And I bet if you've got a nerd in there, somebody is going to get this name. But there's a figure from Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and it's this weird-looking dude, and he's got an eye patch on his eye. He never appeared in the movie at all, but he has an action figure.
Yeah.
Like he appeared in some concept art. And he has an action figure, and that thing's worth a ridiculous amount of money. Like Lego, whenever they release sets, they'll put one figure in there one time. Like if you know anybody that's in the Clone Wars, one Lego figure I can think of off the top of my head, Captain Rex. He's worth like $200. They put him in one set, one time with this look, $200.
You think if it was
one Lego figure,
it would be like millions of dollars. They just sold.
Oh yeah. Like the longer it stays in the box in good condition.
Diego Maradona's shirt from the Hand of God.
Oh yeah.
Went for $9
almost $10 million. Yeah. Like people will spend insane amounts of money on what they love. But when you get to Star Wars, I mean, it's just like
Eddie's got one.
Oh yeah.
He's got something.
Like I'm sure he's got like incredible because like the stuff that you can get. That's one of a kind Star Wars collectors.
I got that at San Diego Comic-Con. This is worth $700.
Is that the Mandalorian?
No, that's Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's just an edition of Boba Fett. There's like
I meant Boba Fett.
Well, I mean there's a lot. There's a Lego Boba Fett that it's hundreds of dollars. And it's an old one. I mean, I've got a Leia at the house that one of the crazier things with Lego is if there is a little defect to a Lego, insane astronomical value. Like there's one There's a Princess Leia that when they made her hair, like the little hair buns, instead of putting like a little tile on top of the mold to make it rippled, it came out flat. If you have that hair tile, it is $400 to $500 right now for hair, for a Lego hair piece.
You have the Jawa that had the vinyl cape that they only made in the first run, which is worth, I think it's one of the most expensive Star Wars figures you can have, and then they moved to a cloth cape because it kept tearing.
Yep, well that was the exact reason, like that, they had a whole series of those with Lego, and it all shredded because, Star Wars collectors were a little bit more involved with theirs.
Really quick, just so I know this is a deep conversation about collecting money. You guys are in charge of other human beings, right? You have children that you are in charge of. I'm just checking.
Just one. I just have one.
Just one.
And you've gotten him to 12, right? He's 12 years old.
I got him to 12. But I distract him with this stuff, so it helps. This is almost like a babysitter.
It does work.
He's a boy.
It definitely works. My kid thinks he's Peter Parker. He tells people that when strangers ask him who he is, he's always Peter Parker.
Is this the Dark Lord one?
No, it's my oldest. The Dark Lord embraces his name. Like, he does answer to it.
I don't really collect anything.
Alcohol.
No. I borrow.
Dreams.
I consume alcohol.
I return.
You return it.
I return it back to the earth. Yeah.
It's very zen of you, Kaler. Very zen of you.
Hey, John, where did May the 4th come from?
I mean, it's I think you kind of nailed it earlier. May the 4th came from somebody at Fox wanting to make money off of Star Wars, and probably paired up with a nerd who said, you know what, just try to do it May the 4th. I mean, honestly, if I had to guess, it's probably Lego that had some push there, because they love to find a way to push a sale. And I mean, once they partner, because they've been doing stuff with Lucas for, it's got to be almost 25 years.
99, I think, 2000, 99 or 98.
They just had the 20th.
We gotta push more Legos, guys. I need ideas. What do you got? What do you got?
And with everything,
Lego was almost bankrupt until they partnered with Star Wars.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's been unreal. Like every year,
Lego almost went out of business.
I mean, I don't know about before, but like once they partnered with Star Wars, I mean, it was just unreal. It was massive.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
I would admit, like franchise-wise, like Bond. I mean, Bond has been going on forever and ever and ever, right? And it's weak. There's some weak ones, and there's some great ones, and there's some weak ones and stuff. Star Wars is living on borrowed. Well, honestly, I feel like the shows are better than the movies. Is that true?
You're not wrong. Like, the best parts of Star Wars are the expanded universe, which is what you're seeing right now. All of what you're about to see, like what you're seeing right now and what you're seeing coming up, specifically to the word Thrawn, like there's already so much legacy content. Legacy is all the stuff that like people would write or do before
pre-Disney purchase.
Yeah. And it goes from hundreds to thousands of years before what we've seen to hundreds of years after. And what they have is an entire collection of stories around Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like there's an entire series, like when they wrote a trilogy, I think Timothy Zahn wrote a trilogy, and I know y'all are laughing. Yeah, the Heir to the Empire trilogy. When he wrote that at the time, when Lucas read it, he called it the unofficial third trilogy. Like that is, you can find a quote of him saying that he claimed it. Like he was just like, yes, this belongs in here.
That's where Coruscant came from. That's the first time Coruscant was mentioned.
Yeah.
Really quick, I just want to interject and do our call sign. Welcome to Ambient TV. This is for everyone who's up just late night, just having trouble getting to sleep. And what we do is we just beat the shit out of Star Wars stuff. And pretty soon you'll be asleep, and then tomorrow you're going to feel fantastic.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we will be switching to the ASMR format.
I mean, none of the films are that great.
I was telling Jason this before the show started, or early in the show. I think the love of Star Wars is nostalgia to the generation you grew up in. Like, I think kids of the 80s, it's a certain nostalgia, and you're seeing that in the shows. They're bringing back these things that sort of hit those, that pull on those strings of nostalgia. Like that's all Boba Fett was. That's what Mandalorian does. That it hits these things where it's like that's my childhood reimagined. And I think that's so much of what Star Wars is nostalgia for every generation that grew up with whatever trilogy they grew up with.
But your childhood was based on a mediocre B film.
Yeah, but when you're 7, 8 years old, that you're into that, you know? Like if you see it as an adult, like if Jason sees Star Wars now as an adult, he's gonna be like, okay, well, I don't see what the big deal is.
I saw
but
it
as an 8-year-old, you're like
13, and I was like, yeah, that's good.
How is it?
Right, but I saw it when I was 6, and it blew my mind. That's
well, Jamie, you're all right. So you're a little bit older. So this would be more like try Star Trek, like back in the day, Star Trek.
Well, what were you into as a, or take your call? That's fine.
I'm calling Danny. I'm calling Brendan to see where he is. What are you doing? Dude,
well, like even with like Star Trek though, like you or Buck Rogers.
Live. That's cool.
Yeah. Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica. I mean, like, you know, the classic sci-fi. You still had toys from that. Now, granted, not to this level, but like toys kind of make it real for you. You know, when I think about it, because like, you know, you sit there and you're watching this story, and you know, even Jamie's point, as cheap as it was for the 70s, it was all about the effects and selling toys, and not much about the story. But as a child, when you're playing with an X-Wing, it makes that story tangible to you. And that's why, like people like this, I mean, that's why you see all the stuff that we collect. We want to put our hands on, you know, on a production copy of a Darksaber, or, you know, a helmet that, you know, represents like, you know, Mandalorian Beskar. Like, you know, that's stuff that it makes a fantasy from my childhood real. And that's why, I mean, for Lego, I played with that as a kid. Like, we didn't have those sets when I was growing up. So I had, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of Lego parts, and I would just sit here building X-Wings and TIE fighters and, you know, characters, and I would have a time making my own stories. Like, that's the tie for me.
Well, I have the Ninja Turtle suit because my wife thought it was weird to just come as a normal furry. So I got the Ninja Turtle, so it was relatable.
Eddie, let me ask you, I have a question. Is Star Wars the main, there's nothing else you follow more closely than Star Wars?
In recent years, I've really gotten into, I mean, as a kid, I grew up reading comic books. So I've always been Star Wars and Marvel. And so watching the Marvel movies now, I'm totally engrossed in that stuff too.
You must think
Star Wars
Marvel movies are so superior to the Star Wars films.
Because they went in with such a plan. Like Lucas on the original trilogy, you could tell that's a cohesive story. And then even with the prequel trilogy, as bad as they were, there's a story there from one point of view. The sequel trilogy was a mess because it was all over the place. There was no plan for the sequel trilogy. And so when you go look at the MCU and what they've done, there was a plan, but it got, you know, they did whatever. But the MCU is 20 some odd films that are all connected in some way with an overall idea and a plan for. And there's nothing like that in the history of cinema.
It's weird how an idea and a plan can really help. It really can sometimes. Hey,
I know it hurts this show. Actually, and our guest tonight comes from both worlds because he was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He was. Oh. He is John Wayne's grandson. He plays the Mandalorian, the physicality of the Mandalorian. Yeah, and there he is. He's going to come sign that for you. He does Comic-Cons all the time now. Please welcome.
Sign his butt right there. Sign it.
Hollywood. Awesome cat. Super funny. Brendan, Danny Wayne.
What's happening, guys?
Hey.
I am technically challenged. I'm sorry for taking so long. My God, that was...
It's weird how his head actually looks like the Mandalorian even without the helmet, doesn't it?
Well, now we can't hear him.
No, we can't hear him.
He's not used to being heard because he's just the man in the suit.
That's true. He doesn't have lines. He doesn't have lines. You're right.
You're muted, Danny.
We should get Pedro to come in and talk for him.
I know.
That would be so funny.
No, we can't hear a word you're saying.
Hey,
Thanks for making Mike check tonight.
check the bottom for a mute button right here.
Does this work now?
There you go. There you go.
I was going to get rid of John to make the foursome up tight, but we might need. What are you drinking? You can't tell us, so don't worry about it. Actually, let's. There's nothing to do with him. You have to fix some
bourbon.
What kind?
Are you not allowed to drink bourbon?
No, now I can hear you. Yeah, bourbon's great. All right, dude, listen. People have been waiting for a long time.
First of all,
what is up?
I have a question.
Mandalorian.
Who said that the none of the Star Wars movies are connected here?
No, they're connected. I'm just saying the sequel trilogy wasn't as thought through as the original trilogy.
Oh, if anything, well done, Eddie.
Are we talking in comparison to the MCU?
Well, they even said as much in the sequel trilogy. J.J. Abrams wrote Force Awakens, and then Rian Johnson was actually writing Last Jedi as Force Awakens was coming out. So I'm just saying there wasn't the overall way Lucas had this overall idea for a storyline.
Yes, mind you, whatever story they said, I guarantee you they were all reading each other's scripts because that is a guaranteed have to. But yes, you're right. All I care about.
They were talking. I'm just saying it didn't feel as connected as the original trilogy did.
Think about this though. Then Favreau comes in and he does the Mandalorian, and then now you got Boba comes out, and then all of a sudden now you got Obi coming out shortly, and Deb Chow directed me in original season of Mandalorian in a couple episodes, and then she went and took on and directed and helped create that whole Obi-Wan. That's all connected, and Dave Filoni's in there, and he's like, he's like Hal, just feeding it out. And John took his experience from starting with Iron Man and creating movies that people wanted to see from Marvel, and now it's like.
No, I agree. I think those guys are in there doing that and connecting those pieces and bringing it all into a cohesive storyline. Whereas I agree with you on that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I really like what Brandon just said here, because it really warrants some hard looking. Because what you're saying right now, Eddie, you're talking about the Marvel plan, how everything that comes out is interconnected and it goes out. We're already seeing that, and no one can talk about it. I bet Brandon knows some stuff, and he can't talk about it.
Oh, yeah, I agree now. Absolutely.
He doesn't have real inside information.
Well, go back to what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned Thrawn. Thrawn, the first show that he has really appeared in was Rebels. I love Rebels. Yeah. It's a piece that takes place between Revenge of the Sith and before episode 4, where it's this weird little window where the Empire starts to where episode 4 is.
And it's season 2 and 3 of Rebels is some of the best Star Wars writing ever made.
Absolutely, hands down. But everything they're talking about with Grand Admiral Thrawn is started there. And you've heard it mentioned that one time in Mandalorian when you saw Ahsoka Tano, she mentioned that she's looking for Thrawn. That's a direct connection to Rebels. I don't want to get into how, but they're going to explore that in her show later.
Yeah.
And that's already connecting to all these other things. Whatever's going on in Book of Boba, whether they do another season or not, it's going to connect to whatever they do with Admiral Thrawn. Because that's a big thing that happens that sets up the universe going on. This resolves the Empire leading in to the story that we don't know anything about, which is, the episode 7, 8, and 9. Honestly, all those movies ended up feeling like just rehashes of the first one. I want more story, with what you're doing there. Sorry, Jamie.
No, really quick. I just want to interject. For those of you out there who don't know, this is actually the Parents Lounge, the channel. It's about parenting. And sometimes when I hear John speak, it's like he's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and he is so intricately telling you how we have to deal with interest rates over the next year. And I'm wondering how you ever got a woman to have sex with you. But that's irrelevant to what we're talking about. How is your wife a Star Wars fan as well?
It's funny you ask. She grew into it because of me, but
she grew into it. Do you change the
but
base and just block her eyelids open and make her watch Boba Fett?
no, she and I on our first date. When I was looking through her house after a date, we
were looking through her house. Hold on, wait. What does that mean?
What
sounds
weird.
What's happening?
On our first date, she took me to her house, and I was just walking through with her, looking through her house.
No, I think that's called a realtor. I think that's a realtor, is what you're talking about.
You went to an open house?
No.
It was an open house, is what you
damn
did?
It. No, damn it. Listen, she collected Legos, but she collected Harry Potter. So, like, we're both nerds. That was our thing, assholes.
I love the first date. Did you pick her up and she was like, "No, let's just go back in here"?
No, I did actually. Well, we met at a movie theater, and we caught a movie.
Dungeons and Dragons dice?
No, I didn't. No.
Wait. You didn't pick her up. You just met her at a movie theater. Was it an online date, or how did the date?
Did you meet her when you were 16?
I don't want to let you
judge, fuckers.
Is that what
I met her on fucking MySpace, y'all.
On MySpace?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You're a legend. Wow.
Introduce you.
I didn't want to pay for going on dates and shit. Like, he had all the dating sites, and I didn't want to invest in that.
Did they have dating sites back then?
Yeah, they had shit. What were they?
Hey, we need to somebody send the link to Sean. He's a Star Wars guy. We need a sixth.
But no, She was a nerd, but just a different nerd. She was more fantasy. I was more sci-fi. So, our things got together. So she likes things like.
It's crazy that the fantasy and the sci. It's like, you're in my peanut butter, you're in my chocolate, you're in my fantasy, you're in my sci-fi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get to Doctor Who from that, or you can get into Firefly because she likes westerns and I like sci-fi. So I mean, there's plenty of stuff. It's all it all goes in there.
Hey, by the way, I don't know. Can we tell that you had an advanced screening last night, Jason, of Doctor Strange?
I did.
Don't say a thing. Don't say a thing.
I liked it, and I thought I enjoyed it very much.
Do you know how many things I have to sit through?
Wait, what?
There's no spoil. We would never spoil something.
No, I'm not going to spoil it. I will say that Benedict Cumberbatch delivers, and Elizabeth Olsen really delivers.
Nice.
How many things do I have to sit through at the end?
2.
That's them 2. All the way to the end, or just kind of?
Honestly, the last one is a throwaway joke kind of thing, so really just some credit. But
there it is. By the way, I can't believe you have a Judge Dredd helmet. That's really one of my favorites.
Yeah,
wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Wait, what? That's not Judge Dredd?
This is the way.
Hey, I don't think you can talk while you're in that helmet, by the way.
Not only do I talk, I have a microphone. I do all the lines, the whole deal.
Hey, really quick. All right, listen.
It's like
I know we're all joking and we're fucking around, but I mean, the fact that you played the Mandalorian is pretty amazing. And honestly, thank you for putting up and coming into this and
come on.
We go back a long way.
I get to talk to other parents.
Would you tell people about the origins of you doing the Mandalorian, and then maybe go through? I mean, it's been what, 3 years now? 4 years?
4 if you count Boba as part of it, which I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you had done Cowboys and Aliens, right? You, Jon Favreau, because you did Cowboys and Aliens.
I did Cowboys and Aliens.
Your grandfather is John Wayne, the dude.
Yeah, so, I mean, I grew up. Oh, here, wait. There he is. My cardboard out. And then,
you know the Marlboro Man? That's awesome.
And then I got little Mando, little Grogu, that little green bastard steals the show.
Is that your man cave where you do your private stuff?
I mean, this is mostly where I tie up loose ends.
Yeah, you tie up. Make sure the bolt on the door is closed, pretty solid. But you still have in case things goes awry. There's a monitor to see if your heart stops, and then that'll police immediately. Y'all be safe. Be safe.
Oh my God, no! So this is what I did. I'd done Cowboys and Aliens back in the day with John. I thought it was going to work forever after that one. I mean, I hired a PR person, paid like 20 grand, and then my part was like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I forgot I was in it. And then I get to the premiere and I see John, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for promoting my movie. Your part's a little smaller than it was." And I was like, oh, I have my whole family walking into this thing, and I'm like, oh my God. And then the movie didn't do as well as we had hoped. It was.
No, that was supposed to be a franchise too, wasn't they? Already had like 2 and 3 ready to go.
I was signed. I mean, I'm telling you right now, thank God I did not quit my day job.
Really quick, tell everyone who doesn't know Cowboys and Aliens, right?
Cowboys and Aliens.
And somebody was in a room and was like, you know what? I love cowboys, but I also love aliens. Why shouldn't they be against each other? And the guy was like, boom.
Yeah, that guy was Spielberg. That was the other guy. And they were like, yeah. And then they gave away, I think. I mean, to this day, I will say they gave away the alien like 5 minutes into the show. So there was no like secret. You know what I mean? Like, who else is doing it? It's clearly the alien. And then there was no mystery. You know, like Spielberg does a really good job of always hiding the alien for the most part until the very end. And your imagination, no matter what it is, has already created something. So you kind of go with it. You're like, yay. But we knew who the alien was from the get-go. It like Predator. Think about like Predator. You didn't really see it till later on. So it was great. Aliens the same way.
I mean, the whole movie, I thought it was Jesse the Body Ventura. The whole movie, I was like, well, that's the Predator. I mean, that dude's a total predator.
Yes. I mean, who's going to beat Jesse?
A different type of predator. And by the way, Spielberg, Spielberg's an absolute genius, but he wanted to use the shark more. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
And the editing, he had to work around stuff. And it turns out, of course, to be the best accident that ever happened. It changed horror films forever, probably. Actually, Hitchcock was kind of very cocky and to not show, to show the reaction as opposed to show the horror, I think.
What was going? Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I think that's what hey, buddy, what's happening, brother?
John was
Sean?
I
realize I'm supposed to be reading to my daughter right now.
You're supposed to be
I'm supposed to be reading to my daughter. And this is a pretty intimidating group when it comes to Star Wars. I just buy shit.
Are you a Star Wars? No. Jason's never seen it. I couldn't care less about it. It's good. I've seen them all.
Yeah, so you're middle of the road. You're center square.
I'm Phil Donahue of this group. Are you a Star Wars guy?
I am. I mean, that's my. I got these guys up here. I mean, I got Han Solo on the side of my fridge out here at the bar.
Oh, I have an actual carbonite that we used in my Razor Crest in the first season.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, Danny, have you seen the guy who's on the scooter cruising around Studio C?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen him, but I don't know how I don't. He's right in our neighborhood.
I've seen him about 6 times.
I see him all the time. He's in full gear, cruising down the street. He's on a scooter, and he's in full Mandalorian gear.
Yeah.
This is intense. Like the amount, I didn't know what I was getting into. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I still don't. I go to these conventions or signings, and I'm like, wait, your daughter has a full costume? She's 3 months old. Like, I don't think you're supposed to put that on.
You went shot like the first week, and you were like looking at the character, was your brain just like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever gone into an audition. Like, I was just, and I've never, like, usually I'm like, just hire me, like, put it in my mouth. Where do you want it? Just make sure there's a little wetness. Like, I don't care. And I walked into this, and like they come up and they show me this gun, and they're like, hey, pretty cool. I was like, no, it's too long. I can't have that. I don't know who I was. All of a sudden, I was like this confident actor guy. I was like, I needed to be about a foot shorter. I hadn't even gotten the job. I'm like, that big harpoon gun, I can't pull it over my shoulder and do that. Come on, you guys. It's obvious. And I need to be able to draw the gun. I need the holster to be lower. And these guys were like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. If anybody, Jamie knows me. Like, I couldn't get hooked into this podcast because I'm an imbecile. So like, well, let's make weapons for him.
Yeah. I know you originally read to play Baby Yoda, I believe, right?
Yes.
And it didn't work out. You weren't great as Baby Yoda, and they said, "Hey, why don't you try the Mandalorian costume?" And you're like, "Fuck, that fits perfect."
Yeah, I can hold a kid all day. That's what I do the whole day. I'm like,
well, and then season 2, something a little crazy happened.
Oh God, oh my God. Yeah, well, so season 2, I had appendicitis that turned out to be not appendicitis. Apparently, like I had appendicitis, but I also had an intestine that was leaking. They couldn't figure it out. So I was in the hospital for like 40 days. So I missed the first 7 weeks of shooting.
I don't know if you know this. You almost died.
No, I actually technically died twice.
You technically died twice, right?
Yeah, I mean, I fled.
There was a text message chain going around, and I mean, I said my goodbyes to you.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful. I came up with some heartfelt stuff, and it was really sweet. And I told stories about how you used to pull your balls out behind the bar.
Used to.
I mean,
they're out right now.
They're out now.
I'm 100% sure they're out right now. Yeah.
Danny and I met because we both bartended 100 years ago down in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Danny, honestly, can we talk about this? Because
I still bartended during the first season. I'd bartend on the weekend.
Can we talk about what you did? Because you might get, I don't want to get you in any trouble. I mean, there was crazy shit going on.
Wait, you mean in the bar?
Yeah.
Why not?
What you would do behind the bar?
Hey, look, I had this theory, and I still have this theory.
Okay, hold on. I love when we're like, hey, can we talk about this? This could get you canceled. And then you go, you know what? I have a theory.
It has nothing to do with
Peterson. Holy shit!
I know. I have this theory from being a bartender that nobody pays attention. Everybody pays attention to themselves. So what I used to do to prove it was sometimes I would let the boys come out and have some fresh air, nice Santa Monica air, and I would work and bartend while the Bulldogs' cheeks were hanging out of my pants.
Not the Franks, just the beans. Just
no. I mean, I couldn't. I mean, literally, like I don't even know if it could have popped out of the zipper. With my balls, they were down by my ankles, so I could pop those out any time. And I would just sit there and I would pour drinks, and literally the other bartender, my buddy Dave, he would be purple. He'd be like, fucking nobody. And I'd be like, dude, crazy. And I would be talking to people, like 6 feet of distance, COVID distance. And literally just.
Trevor gets it. Trevor's our local bartender in Sarah, Pennsylvania, who destroyed. Jason and I did a live show in Pennsylvania and we say now, this is our new catchphrase, we got Trevored. He's the best. He's the greatest bartender since us.
Yes.
Yeah. You go to the
bar. I wasn't much of a bartender, but I enjoyed it.
He would stare right in your eyes like Tom Cruise. He'd be like, hey, what can I get you to drink? You want something to drink? And you'd be like, you were so enthralled by his eyes, you didn't look away. And you're like, why is he staring like that? And all of a sudden he'd go. And then you go, what?
So spot on, too.
He'd look down, and then you'd look over, and the other bartender, our buddy Dave, was like, finally, you like Danny would just keep looking down, and you would finally look down, balls hanging out, just his balls hanging out.
And most people would be like Jamie. I wouldn't do it to Jamie after I think the second time because he literally was like, no.
I got it. I was like, too far.
And then there'd be like Beatrice or somebody would be sitting next to him and he'd be like, oh my God. And then they'd be like pointing at him.
And the other dude, Forsyth, would make a drink and he would take the straw and fill just the straw with hot sauce and then put the straw back in the drink. So your first sip would be pure hot sauce.
Yes. Oh, it's terrible.
He did it to me once. And I just went, whoosh! Heaved the drink right at him. And he goes, I go, don't do that again. Don't do that again.
That's exactly what he did.
Don't do that again.
But the balls are okay, but not that hot sauce.
No, not hot sauce.
I didn't put the balls.
Every man has a line.
That's just going too far.
To be fair, as far as balls go, Danny's got a great set. Hey, really, Danny, your balls are beautiful.
Thank you. And now they look nice. I got a little like facelift when I was in the hospital, so it was nice.
Just real quick, Sorry, I was just going to ask real quick. What's between balls and hot sauce then? Like, worse than balls, but not quite hot sauce.
As a bartending joke, what's a good bartending joke that people would play on people?
The bar mat.
I was the opposite. I went the positive route. Like I would like the guy would be, he's like, oh, I can only have one. And he'd be like a quarter beer down. And I would fill a glass with beer and I'd bring it over and I go, hey man, we're having troubles. It didn't taste right to me. Does this taste okay? And I'd put it down in front of the guy. What do you mean? I go, can you try this for me? Something's off. And he would take a taste and he goes, tastes great to me. I go, perfect, thank you. And I walk away. And then that guy was there for the end of the night and threw money at me. That's like, who doesn't tip? The guy you show your balls to. That's the guy you're not making money off of.
No. Yeah.
I think that would depend on the guy, probably.
Maybe. Actually.
Or the balls.
Hollywood, you would have made, Danny, you would have made.
I think ball quality is a factor. I think
so too.
I think we got a lot of sympathy tips out of that too.
It was funny to see you and Dave behind the bar because Dave's funny too, but you were more gregarious. Like you were out playing, and Dave would be like, "Get behind the bar and start pouring drinks."
Actually, bartending, and I would be out. What I would say, I'm just making money for our real estate.
That's right.
You need to make drinks, and it was awful. I was honestly terrible.
Dude, we had regular drinking rounds. I worked at O'Brien's. He worked at the Lobster. This early 90s, and we had it was just a crew of people. It was pretty great back then, wasn't it? Nobody had phones.
No
texting at the bar. When you sat at the bar, you talked to people, and it was a community, and it was
great.
No one gave a shit about the news.
No,
I know. So, remember those days when Star Wars
with my balls hanging out, right? Mm-hmm. And now I walk around with Grogu, who looks very similar.
Yeah.
Come on.
Ball adjacent.
I'm just saying.
You could batwing with the ears.
It looks like a scrotum with ears.
Like if I just took this off and then I walked this up, would you think this man was healthy? He has a green sack with old pubes. Like, come on. I think I was made for this role.
I think he needs to wear boxers for sure.
What was that Ryan Reynolds movie, Waiting? That looks like the brain. Looks like the brain.
Do you guys not feel like it's a bit I feel like it's a bit of a cult? Here's why, because it's so my daughter, Claire, first grade, has never seen one Star Wars thing or anything. And she wanted Baby Yoda for Christmas. And we got her a baby. I was like, well, she's never seen this. And my wife's like, oh, she wants Baby Yoda. And we got her a Baby Yoda. And she has a Baby Yoda. Really doesn't know who Yoda is. Doesn't know any of the movies. And so it's like this. I feel like it's basically Waco. It's the David Koresh Church of people just kind of
if it is, it's a good kind of Waco because if you look at it, I mean, I'm going to be
less fire, sure, less fire, less bullets, sure,
yes, but there's mythology for them. Come on, we're giving them a lesson. Everybody has the Force. Anybody can be good with it, or you can be bad. This is life lessons.
So that's a great question, actually, and Eddie might know the answer to this. Let's talk about the Force. What does the Force really represent? And why is the Force strong in certain people, but it's not in others? Is it genetic? It's inherited? How do you accumulate
if you go by the prequels, it is a genetic. Everyone can be Force sensitive to a degree, but the people that are more Force sensitive have a higher midichlorian count.
I'm sorry, they have a what?
Well, everyone knows the midichlorians is what enables you to communicate with the Force, which is a force field that surrounds all living things. So people with a higher midichlorian count, like Yoda, has one of the highest ones ever. He can manipulate the Force easier.
So how do you get what indicates a higher midichlorian count?
A blood test.
But so do you inherit that from are you making shit up now?
No, I'm
not. The last blood test that we had proved that the twins were in fact mine, so I'm not a fan of these blood tests.
But if you watch season 1, something's going on with Moff Gideon, right? He was doing something with that baby, right?
I mean, he's trying to get he wants the genetic makeup of Grogu, right? He wants to milk Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Why can't somebody extract the metachlorian count from one person if it's in your bloodstream and then put it into somebody else and give them the force?
That's it.
Also, is there a way to synthetically create the force? Can you?
I mean, they're making a fucking Death Star. You're telling me they can't take a protein out of your body and replicate it?
Okay, honestly, which one of you? Because I know Eddie did. Who watched Mandalorian of you two up there? Yeah, I don't think either one of you did.
I'm not there yet in the story.
I've never seen Star Wars at all.
You should just watch The Mandalorian. Do you like Westerns?
Yeah.
Or do you just like turtles?
Let me ask you, do you like cowboys? I've got something for you.
I will tell you, a good friend of mine was a stunt coordinator for the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But wait, no, seriously. So you guys, what you're extrapolating on there about like cloning and things like that, they did a whole show called Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And they reference it.
But do the clones have the Force?
Oh, no. They are clones. Basically,
it was an unsuccessful clinical trial.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, you know who Boba Fett is, right?
Sure. He's a bounty hunter.
Serial for a while. Yeah.
So Boba Fett is a clone, a perfect carbon copy clone of Jango Fett. Jango Fett is a Mandalorian. Now, there is some lore, and I think that they're still kind of working out the specifics of it. Like, armor-wise, he looks pretty close to Death Watch, and I don't know how deep into it they've gotten. There's a whole thing with Mandalorians. I love Mandalorians. In Star Wars, everything, like, there's so many layers, but for the Mandalorians, they're kind of like, they're like Spartans. No force, they're just brute. I love Mandalorians.
Well, we're the Batman of.
How many Mandalorians are there?
Yeah.
How many? Many.
There's not many right now because with what they're going to get into probably with Obi-Wan, they're going to get into something called the Night of 1,000 Tears, which is centric to Mandalorian. It's an attack on the Mandalorian homeworld. That leads into a lot of what your episode of Boba Fett talked about. Like there was an entire scenery, and it's such an impressive thing. But like you can take a thread in Star Wars, specifically for me, the Mandalorians is my thread, and you can just follow it. But like going from Jango Fett, he's a Mandalorian, and they cloned him, and every soldier that you see in episodes 2 and 3 is Jango Fett's clone. So they basically as heavy of a fighter as Boba Fett is. They have everything he genetically has, his disposition for weapons and everything else.
I think that's coming. Eventually, they'll take someone like LeBron James and they will clone him.
Oh, absolutely.
A billion times. They'll make armies of him. Yeah.
Or they'll just
genetic superhero. Yeah. Or I mean, honestly, how would the NBA make if we just had like all LeBron clones and they just clobbered? And you could let them kill each other. Maybe the weapons like rollerball, because we have a whole whole locker of clones.
Yeah,
how great!
You can eliminate fouls completely.
And we go back to the Boston Celtic Laker rivalry again, and McHale.
Well, not to jump off of Star Wars and get into sports again, but I mean, the playoffs this year has been closer to 1984 than it has been forever. These guys are killing each other.
Wow, I agree.
They've got to stop that. And I'm like, no. That's the only reason I'm watching again. I want people to get killed. I want Kurt Rambis clotheslines happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want Kareem
more Star Wars talk. Honestly, I almost nodded off when John was chatting there about I forgot
we were even still on the air. Actually,
You brought a Star Wars nerd in to talk to the man that plays Mandalorian. What the hell did you expect was going to happen?
No, that's what I love. I love this. I think honestly, I kind of brought you in and Eddie especially because I feel like you guys actually know more than Danny does.
Oh, 100%. I want you guys to know,
like Reed Scott, and we gave him a Marvel quiz. He's in Venom, right? He plays I don't know, one of the doctors in Venom or something.
He's the boyfriend of the girl that she leaves Venom for.
And Jason knows everything about Marvel and started grilling him. He's like, I don't I'm not sure I know that one. I don't. It was the,
and salt to the wound because Jamie got more questions right in the quiz than he did.
Wow.
I forget who didn't know the Deadpool question, but I was pretty proud of that one. Like the first,
Jobo's going dark. Aaron Hernandez could play basketball. He wants to move. Jobo, too soon.
Wow.
Oh.
Eddie Lee.
Oh, thank you. It's my kid's college fund.
I was gonna say seriously. Well, they're all open though. How much money is that all worth?
It doesn't matter.
It's like I said, like some you get graded, like like this guy's been graded, and I won't open him because he's worth more. But like, it just depends.
Like who's the dork who does the grading? Is there
there's companies that grade that stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like, see this little part right here? It's even more. It's worth even more. See where you hang it on the peg in the store. Yeah. If that is not punched out, if that's intact, it's worth so much more because it was never hung on a rack. It's straight out of a box. Grading is the weirdest thing.
So how much is that worth?
This one's worth about $700.
Righteous money.
Because it was a Comic-Con exclusive, and I think I bought it for $40. It's not worth.
How much do you think you've spent on those?
More than I care to really admit.
Yeah.
Why? You love them. They give you. I know, honestly.
I also make my own props, so these I handmade that.
You want to talk about somebody who makes his own shit? Talk to Jason. He 3D printed. Pull this out. He 3D.
He's got a Marvel chair.
Oh, nice. That looks cool.
Yeah, this was in between trying to survive my kids. This was like 9 months.
He 3D printed that thing.
That's pretty dope.
You guys, I don't know.
That's a lot of work.
Hey, tell some stories about the set, man, about shooting that thing, man. Because everybody who we told you were going to be on were like, holy shit, what's that like? It's a long shoot.
I mean, I would say that like first season, I think we were 6.5 months of shooting. I think the fact that when I'm there, it's not like having, I don't know, what was it, like a big star? It's not like having a normal number one guy running a show. And I'm very much, I know everybody on set. I know all the departments.
Like you're there more than anybody, I would say.
But some people can be kind of aloof, or I do all the lines, I do all the acting, I do everything that's required of me if I'm working. So, like what I do, I don't know, like in downtime, I guess some people go to their room and go to work on their business, because they're smart. I'm not very intelligent, clearly. So I just go and learn how to use a Wallman head on a drill. And then I start drilling with them and I make parts of the set, or I go over and I'm like, hey, so what's this light do? And then they tell me, and I'm not kidding you not, like people come up and they're like, God, you're so different. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, they're like, well, you talk to us. I'm like, do people want to see?
Yeah.
And your balls are out, so there is that.
Well, mostly.
That's very inviting. Your balls are very inviting.
Actually, I'm in costume, so I don't like it's connected. I have to ask to get out of the suit. I'm like a kid in Christmas Story, like running down the snow.
I can't put my arms down.
That must be training all day, every day to be in that suit. It's got to
bother me. You know what? I played football. I don't know. Do you know what? I bartended for 25 years. I just wanted to work. Now I'm working. I'm never going to be like, oh, it's so tough. It's heavy. I got out of the hospital.
Danny, I don't want to just gloss over something that I think is super important. I think everybody must hear about. You played football?
Yeah, in men's league too.
A men's league football team? Like, is that like the longest yard, like one of those prison leagues?
Big Five champion. Just so you know, God, that just made me almost vomit. The prison league one. Well,
I love it. It was like,
here you go. There you go. Look at that.
Yes.
That's high school. That's a high school picture.
it burned all of those. No,
Eddie, you and John. Do you guys? My questions are stupid. So,
but wait, let me just say
this. Things that Star Wars fans would want to ask.
Wait, so I worked with the guy who's on Tacoma. Oh God, he was in The Mandalorian.
Steve,
Eugene Cordero.
Yes, Eugene.
Yeah, he's right.
So like I worked with people, and all I do like Bill Burr.
Burr, yeah.
And he is
he was really good.
He's an actor. Like he's an amazing comedian, obviously, but he's an amazing actor. Like he takes it seriously. He's not going 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3, boom. Like he's really good. Then I work with like an Amy Sedaris, so like every day I walk in, and I'm a geek. Like I loved it. I wasn't a geek. I take that back. But I loved Star Wars. I sat in line and waited for, Return of the Jedi. I sat out, waited for tickets for 12 hours with my brother.
That was the other one I thought was good, Return of the Jedi. The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I thought were the two. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. And again, Eddie defends The Last Jedi very much so.
I like The Last Jedi.
I thought it was good. Is that the last one? Is that 9?
No, Rise of Skywalker is the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8. It's the one that it's one Rhiannon Johnson did.
Is that the one Han Solo gets killed?
No, that's Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Which one's that one? 7, 8, 9?
Number 7. Number 7.
Wait, he kills Han Solo in 7?
Yeah.
I thought that was a good one. Is that not a good one?
So I guess I don't need to watch it now.
Jamie, can you say Han?
Han.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Han. That's so East Coast. Han. But you say aunt.
But I do believe it's pronounced Solo. So.
Han Solo.
Okay.
Solo.
Solo.
What were you a fan of?
Come
Were
on.
you a fan of anything? Honestly, were you a fan of okay? So imagine every day you'd get to walk onto the court at the Celtics, and you met. No, that's not it.
When I was a kid, I met Dave Cowens, and my father walked me onto the court. I don't know why. And he was like, "Hey, Dave Cowens," and I go, "Hey," and Dave goes, "You want my autograph?" I go, "Not really." I was a kid.
Wow.
I was a little kid. I go, "Nah, not really. I'm good."
Wait, so what is your thing? Like, Caleb, what is your thing?
Okay, here's my thing. My thing is never the same thing twice. For some reason, I don't have. And it's funny too because I'm going on this podcast called Fanatics, where you are supposed to talk about something that you love more than anything. I don't get it.
What do you love more than anything?
I don't know. Nothing. Honestly, sometimes I'm a sociopath where I just go, yeah, it's all good. Whatever.
You like whiskey?
I can
You like
see
whiskey and wine?
I like whiskey, but I don't love it. I could do without it in a heartbeat. I like golf a lot, but I don't play every day. I like
you like a fountain Coke. Like, I think that you're pretty passionate about that.
Occasionally, I like a good fountain Coke. Very much so. Very, very much so.
You can do a whole podcast about fountain Cokes.
Dude.
Do you
certain days? I don't know. I like change. Like I was the kid, when people go in and they go, "That's my chair." I was never that guy. I deliberately would sit in different chairs to get a different point of view from everywhere. And then someone would go, "That's my chair." I go, "Well, sit over there." Fuck, why? I don't want to care. Like I've kind of had a lucky career because I've done hosting, VO, acting, stand-up, improv, sketch. I don't know. Whatever I get into, I like that. But I'm never. If that goes away, I don't know. It doesn't. Nothing. I don't know. That's fucked up? Isn't that fucked up?
You're like a stoic. You're like a true stoic. I love this.
I don't know. I like different things. I like changing. I like change. I don't know. I've had so many different lives where I was a Navy lieutenant for my 20s. Then 30s, I was trying to act and doing stand-up. And then 40s, I was on a show. And now I'm a father of 2. And that's like, it's everything's so, and I hosted, and I did, I don't know. It's funny too, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes you get like an acting thing and you reach a point where you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yes. Freddie B.
Which honestly, part of me is really jealous of the mythology and what you guys love. Like Jason's the same with Marvel. He explained Doctor Strange to me so I can go see it and kind of know what I'm seeing. And I enjoy it. I like, like certain shows, The Wire or Breaking Bad or whatever, but I've never I had something that I just fucking loved.
I mean, Mando is just such an easy thing to fall in love with. Like, there's so many nostalgic little bits. What I love about the show is how they reintroduce things from my childhood and give them new spins. Like, there was that one episode in season 2, the blue speeder that looked just like Luke's speeder. Like that thing, I mean, it just seeing that pop up on the screen, it's just kind of like, it's like the Ford Focus of the Star Wars universe, but in a different color. It's just nice to see a shitty little car and then watch it get utterly destroyed in an episode.
Yeah.
But seeing those little things, or that one episode in the first season with the ATST, like that rusted out leg, like just taking something I knew from my childhood and seeing such a fun spin on it, and like, being able to show, I've got a 6-year-old boy, and he's watched me watching Star Wars, and we made the decision that he could watch Mandalorian, and I was fine with it. But him and I, that's our weekend Friday night thing is we'll watch some Mandalorian, or we'll watch some Bad Batch, or Rebels, or whatever, and he loves it.
And they're like good. I love it because it is a story you can watch with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like my 12-year-old, my youngest, she'll watch it with me. Now my 14-year-old, because she knows it's me, absolutely hates it. I mean, she doesn't hate it. She just could give two, like, she's like, whatever, I'm gonna go watch Gilmore Girls. I'm like, from 90 whatever, that's terrible. But like my 12-year-old, she gets it. My 23-year-old, she's like, yeah, I think you ought to, try to radiate a little more of this. I'm like, okay, chill out, know it all.
Oh, so the 23-year-old's giving you notes?
Oh God, yes, 100%. Like, I mean, yeah, and she should. She's smart and she's creative. But like, so I see a couple questions. And I'm just going to answer for you.
I'll pop it up there.
Yes, that is my natural gait. If it's Western, that's what it is. But the way I walk, I think nothing of it. I'm constantly like, people are like, oh, I can do your walk. I'm like, okay. And then they try, and I'm like, you look honestly like I should take you to the doctor. I can't use the word I'm using. I'm glad I didn't. But I'm literally like, I don't know what happened. Maybe you should put ice on the back and maybe it'll go down. But something's wrong with you. And then, you get I don't know. I didn't grow up on a horse, but I grew up, I'm good on a horse. And I can do some, you know what it is? I was born with a quarter of a brain because I was the last of 8 kids. And so it's not that I'm like, oh, this guy's really good physically. It's more that I'm just dumb enough to do things. And so I was like that friend. They're like, hey, like, do you think you could light yourself on fire? I'm like,
you survived is what you're saying. You survived.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Somebody asked, what was my favorite episode? I'll tell you, season 2. The Jedi with Ahsoka when she came doing that one. That was Dave Filoni, and it was his Western, and we had Johnny Ringo. I mean, it was everything. And then Rosario coming in, and Diana, who played the magistrate. Like it was
every second of that was.
And
how closely guarded do they keep the stories from you guys, like on set? Like, do you know fully where it's going, or are they sort of like, just do this and don't ask about why you're doing this?
No, I get all the scripts. The funny thing is, I don't read them, and it's because they constantly change as I'm walking in. Now, I know my lines or whatever, but I'm a fan. So if I can avoid reading the first 4 episodes of Boba Fett, and then I come in episode 5 and I read that and I'm in 6 and 7, cool. And then I go and watch the show. I get to watch the first 4 just like you and enjoy it. Be like, oh my God. And then I think about talking to Robert about what he was excited about. I'm like, Rodriguez, God, this was, and like, it was just, for me, I like to not read what everyone else is doing so I can go and be like, oh my God, this is awesome. So
that's awesome.
Here's a question. Sorry.
No, I walk onto these sets and I geek out. Like I got to go in the Razor Crest and I got to fly it, or I get to go in the N1 and I'm like, hey, this doesn't fit. But besides that,
this is really small.
No, they 100% might have created it
for a kid, for a 9-year-old.
For the 9-year-old. They literally were so happy about it. I go, that might be a problem, guys. And then you see me get in it and you see me doing this stuff and it's some funny shit. But yeah, no, 100%. Like, I got to do some of the coolest. People are like, are you tired of it? And I'm like, no. Like, producers, they're like, you bored? I'm like, no, dude, I just walked into Tatooine or Navarro or a new part of Navarro we've never seen. Like, are you kidding me?
Right. This is my life's dream. How can I get tired of doing
pretend? Are you kidding?
That's the crazy thing about the Star Wars shows that y'all are doing right now is like you see these sets in the show and like everything is so detailed and beautiful and intricate. And then you're just thinking here like, geez, how much time do they spend on set design? And
like, did they keep Jabba's palace from 1983? Like, how did they keep that so perfect?
Oh,
but
man.
then you realize it's green screens, the entirety of it. Like so much of it.
No.
Is it not? I thought it was all like that dynamic.
Jabba's palace they rebuilt, right?
Jabba's they rebuilt. My ship is I had the.
Well, I know they built your ship.
One.
Yeah.
Now what we get is we have the volume, and what it is, it's like a 20-foot circle.
Yeah.
20-foot high LED screens that. A gaming engine, so like all those like Call of Duty, those
Unreal, and yeah.
What they're doing is they're making it so that from the camera's view, so it's like this triangle that comes out, it captures it, and wherever that camera moves, it's giving depth to the pictures you're seeing. So I'll put it to you this way: my Uncle Patrick did Sinbad, I think in '72, and then I tell him about what I'm doing on this show, and I'm like, I don't have to imagine anything; it's right there. They have a X-wing come flying across, and I'm going. I don't.
You're watching it happen.
So my job is what an actor's job is to have a relationship, not just to create the image. And my uncle is like, really? Well, fuck you. I had a guy with a stick and a fucking tennis ball, and he's running around like he's Clash of the Titans. And I'm supposed to be like, oh no, it's a Cyclops.
Or just taking individual photos and like having to animate things with clay, and you're just moving at a micro thing, and you're taking hundreds of photos a day to get like a second and a half of footage.
Yeah.
Like, and then I remember seeing something about how they used a speed up technique to make it all look really smooth, and it was just some stupid thing that if somebody had just sat down for 30 seconds and looked at it and been like, what if we did this? It would have looked smooth, and instead they were just like, no, just keep taking the photos. Like, like it's just amazing to see like the evolution of technology. Even looking at Star Wars, going back to using that same principle with the modeling that they had to do for Episode 4, the attack on the Death Star, anything with Hoth, the space battle, even the battles in Endor, like when they were shooting the chase scenes, like they basically went on rails and they were just zooming in and out of trees, getting as close as they could. And now, you're sitting there inside of like half of a cone that animates a world behind you. Like, where does it go from here?
Yeah, I mean, and they're watching like John and Dave come in and fix something in the script that they're like, yeah, so I think this isn't going to work. And I'm like, wait, why? This is great. And then they kind of look at me and they're like, shh.
the adults are talking.
And you're like, oh, that's how you tell a story. You guys are good at this.
Well, now I heard you say that they take notes from you on things like sizing things, which makes sense. Like getting into the ship and fitting for harnesses and guns. What other kind of notes do they take from you? Because I'm sure they're not going to be like, it'd be really great is if I came in here and if I split some of these these dark troopers here, and then what if I did this and fought?
What if I had my balls out? Is that okay, guys? Can I have balls out?
What if for this scene, I got to serve, some drinks. So just hear me out, guys. Let's go through this idea. My balls hang out.
Just spitballing.
Beskar Cup. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I want to know why I don't have Beskar over my crotch. I have asked that, and I won't. They don't give me an answer. I'm not going to lie, because if you're going to protect this and the moneymaker, maybe you want to protect the rest.
Well, they got cloning now, so there's no point.
They can clone you, and you're technically, it's just a copy of a copy at that point. It may not be as sharp, but
I mean, like I'm like Steve from Multiplicity. I'm like number 7.
Let's just take a fingernail and make a new one of you.
I actually think I am. I'm number 8, actually, because I was the last of 8 kids. I'm like,
billionaire Bezos is definitely cloning himself as we speak, right?
Oh yeah.
In some island off South America, he's
there's
Musk.
There's a Dr. Moreau somewhere.
Musk
he definitely put 2 or 3 clones together just for the organs alone. Like, if you had hundreds of billions, wouldn't you go? Yeah, we should probably do that. Let's clone me and get a liver, and I'll do the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, think about didn't Walt Disney do that? Like,
I mean, the urban legend is that his head is in a jar somewhere waiting for
his head. Somewhere,
Now, what about that Boston Red Sox? Like, his kids were like, "Yeah, we're gonna what's his name? The Ted Williams. He was also. They were fighting over
cryogenically frozen, but there was a cryogenic facility, and then they went in and they're like, "Wait, everything's defrosted here." Like,
that's here. That's here in Mesa.
And they were like, "Oh, don't worry about it." As they're cleaning up a puddle, I don't worry about it. You can still bring him back.
He's already dead. I mean, look, we got the DNA.
How much more dead can he be?
It's gonna be fine. Don't worry about.
What do they take notes from me? Mostly like Western stuff. They're like, "You're our Western guy. Would he do this?" And especially in the beginning, because we wanted him to be human, so we wanted his fighting for the most part to be straight up fighting, and then like we'd add in like some roping technique, like the guy trying to go through the door at the bar in the first scene. I rope him. Like, I don't just shoot the rope like Boba did. Like, I give a little, bend, and then I get him and I heel him and I pull him, and then I shut the door by shooting at it. I want you guys. You want to know the best is? So the mythosaur is Signs, Horatio. Okay,
right.
He's got this blue thing on. I didn't know who he was because he had his stuff on the whole time, like the whole season. Like, I never knew. And then somebody's like, "Yeah, you got."
You never knew his Horatio's hands the whole time.
And I go, "Wait, where did I work with him?" I'm literally like, I think somebody's kidding. I'm like, "Yeah, he's hilarious," but I didn't work with him. They're like, "Yeah, you did."
That's really funny.
And they're like, "No, he's a comedian." I go, No. The comedian was the guy who was driving the speeder when we were going back to the.
You didn't talk to him between takes and be like, "Hey, man, what's happening?"
I was busy trying to fight people at that point because I was, I got to pull a guy's beard and punch a guy and throw a guy over a bar. Like, he was like over in the corner, and John's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And I didn't hear him at any point say his name. The only guy who was my land speed driver.
You didn't see the call sheet?
Oh, Brian Posehn.
What was it?
Brian Posehn.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, so my brother Chris used to run the Improv in Santa Monica. And so when I was 17 to 20, I used to go there every day. And he was there. And I'm like, dude. And the best is I'm standing next to fucking Horatio. And I'm going, this guy is the funniest guy right here.
Posehn is one of the funniest people. He's really funny.
Oh my God. I love it. Like,
and people like Posehn, it would be like if Eddie or John worked on the show. Like, Posehn is such a fan. Like, we went home that night and just laid in bed and I was like, oh.
Man, I can't imagine.
Yeah. It's like Breaking Bad does the same. There was a lot of comics. I always love when I see comics in dramas. I think it's fantastic.
If you're,
me too.
To me, if you're a great comic, like really, you have the ability to do anything in acting if you just follow it. Because
Robin Williams.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's for me in movies. I think that the hardest part to stay in a movie is when there is no humor, none at all. And I don't need like jokes throughout, but like if somebody can just be quippy, or if somebody has like a weird thing that like you have a normal story and then somebody just like if their thing is just quipping a song, like
it's called comic relief. And that guy usually dies at the end of the first act. So yeah.
But I know, but I'm just saying, like, having a quip here and there.
It was like, hey, look at that guy over there. And
then
then
kill him. It's such a stupid rule. But like, when you're working, like, who's
like Sedaris.
Like Sedaris. Like, I love Amy Sedaris. Like, every scene, every line that she has, like, it is just. I light up. Like,
can I just say, okay, like, so this is the hilarious because
Eddie,
like her things about Jawas. Like, I every sentence she had, I was crying from laughing.
John will stay on here. Like, it'll be Saturday morning at 9:30, and John will say, everybody's like, so when you picked up that thing from the bar, were there real peanuts in that, or was that a fake vegetable from a different planet?
Vegetable.
We got to roll. It's been 90 minutes. We got to end this thing. Like, it's back east. It's 11:35 on the East Coast.
That is correct. Yes, it is 11:30 here.
And he doesn't even know what we're talking about.
Repeatedly going, "Are you coming out? Wait, the kids need to go to bed." This is a parenting show. We know that. All right.
Yes. My kid texted me, "Hey, dinner's ready. Dinner's ready."
Huge thanks to Brendan, Danny Wayne. Are you currently shooting now, or are you done for the season?
I can't answer that.
Oh, you can't?
I can't. But you know what? Star Wars Celebration's coming up. I think everybody. I know Jamie has no idea, but John, like, honestly,
what's the celebration?
You guys should definitely
5 years. Be 45 years.
We should talk right now.
Can you tell me one?
We should talk.
Tell me one fun thing. Not that we're gonna see, but just
do they have shoelaces in Star Wars, or is everything Velcro?
Give me something fun that we can look out for on just a sneak, like a morsel. I just want something to get me by.
Get them fired. That's good. Get them fired. That'd be cool.
I need like a.
Why are
anything that won't get you in trouble?
Why are the troopers so stupid and terrible shots? Here's the question: are there supposed to be people under those, or are they fucking robots?
Yes. Wait, there's an answer to this, though. You know that, right? There is an answer.
I'm asking why.
There's a whole story on why they're bad shots. It's because they're clones, and the whole deal. Now,
is it multiplicity where they get stupider with each cloning?
Yeah, they're still learning with them. Now, the Dark Troopers were another level of something. You know what I mean? They were amazing, but then we had Luke come in and just eat them up like, candy.
So they made a clone, and they said it's blind, it's not very talented, it can't shoot for shit. You know what? Just put it in the outfit and just send it out there.
Yeah.
So it was like the first trooper. Was he like pretty good? Like, and then
in the Clone Wars, they did have a deformed clone that was the janitor on Camino.
Yeah. That is actually the foundation for Bad Batch. And Bad Batch is really good because it answers everything you have.
I have no idea what's happening.
They're shooting at people who are not even like hidden behind a corner of a building. They're just standing out in the middle, and the guy's like, pew, pew. Like, he can't even, they're not even close. Like, nobody wins.
Joe's got it.
Good with shooting, right, Jamie?
Wait, what does Joe Boat say? What is that? Stormtroopers aren't clone troopers.
Yes.
Although.
This is very. He is correct.
Oh, so it's not the trooper's fault. It's the weapon is like a blaster. It's like a musket. No, so it's
like a shotgun.
Reference to that coming.
They explain why clones are no longer used in Bad Batch Season 1. The entirety of that is basically what happens from the very end of Revenge of the Sith to the Empire forming and everything that happens. Like everything that, like, when Order 66 and Jedi and everything else, it was no longer the Republic. That's when the Republic became the Empire.
Jamie,
and Bad Batch.
No idea what you're talking about.
No, Bad Batch.
He's just saying things off the periodic table. Like, I don't understand any of it.
These are Disney Plus shows. You just get on Disney Plus, look up Bad Batch.
It's like somebody who's buried themselves in a lie. And then at the end you go, well, that was impossible. You couldn't have been at the store while you were home. No, you're wrong. I could have. So here's what happened. There was a portal to my house. And so I was actually in two places at once. well, that's physically impossible. I know that's exactly what you would say, but here's how it is possible. There's a special pixie dust, and if you sprinkle it on people, you can be. It's
No, we're real.
I feel like we should end right there.
I have. I should have brought all my questions. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed them all. They're great. I enjoyed them. But to be like a religion of it, like you do think maybe 2,000 years from now, people will still be like, they'll still be expanding the universe. I mean, it's
okay.
How long was
innocuous and say this? It is a mythology, just like Westerns were. What Lucas did, what we're doing now, is the mythology that a lot of parents are using to share with their kids a path in life and having a belief without having to say, hey, go be a Catholic, put your hand on your ass when you're with the priest. But other than that,
it's teaching right and wrong, good from evil.
It gives you those learning opportunities without giving you the threat of that.
It's Beowulf from way back when. It's what it is.
I would have been in ancient Greece going, wait, Zeus has a lightning bolt, and he can just shoot it exactly where he wants it, and that electricity. I would have been that guy. I'm just the holy fool. I always.
A philosopher. They would have made you be a philosopher.
Well, I mean, if you
do you not know what happened to Socrates? They would have made me drink hemlock.
Yes.
Are you saying something bad about Zeus here? Drink this. Oh shit, that would be the end of me.
Well, you're asking about the lastingness of Star Wars. I mean, like think about Shakespeare. We're still doing plays of his, and they're doing modernizations to the originals. So
but
I mean,
there's
this
a
is
logic.
no different.
There's a logic to those I can follow. Like I can't. Yeah.
There's a logic to every of these Star Wars. They're all a mythological reference.
It's as deep or as shallow as you want to be.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still caught up on the Stormship Troopers or Stormship.
Stormship Troopers is a different movie entirely.
Starship Troopers. The giant bugs are poking into your heads, and Stormship Troopers are.
That's Starship Troopers.
Why is Casper Van Dien in the Star Wars Enterprise? The whole fucking mess. Denise Richards? What's happening?
Yes.
I mean, that's not Star Wars. That's Stormship Troopers. They're terrible shots, and I really have a really problem with it.
May the Schwartz be with you.
All right, listen. Eddie, dude, I love you. Thank you. Will you come back to a normal show at one point where we
Please, I would love to come back to a normal show.
What's funny is we're 5 dads here shooting the shit about something else besides. And honestly, I've enjoyed not talking about my kids for the last 90 minutes. I think that's
I've enjoyed not being around my kids for the last 45 minutes.
So much. Because when your brain goes into Star Wars, you forget about your kids. And it's almost like it could just be a watch swinging back and forth.
You want to know this was super cathartic? I had no idea what was happening the entire time, but it was a time away. So
you weren't with your kids, and that's why it was so good.
I just sat here and I was like, I don't understand anything that's being said, but
it's so much better than my children.
Well, we should preview tomorrow's show. We're going to do a Cinco de Mayo show. Cesar Chavez will be here. Freddie Prinze Jr. will come by with some stories about him and Sarah Michelle.
And we are going to channel Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero will be here, and we'll get into which is better, Modelo, Dos Equis, or Corona. It's going to be an exciting show.
Modelo.
I think Modelo's the best too. All right, hey, listen. Danny, thank you for showing. John, honestly, thank you for coming in and bringing some expertise. But otherwise,
hey, Danny, I got one question, Dan. This is not about Star Wars. This is a personal thing. You're friends with Cody Decker and Jen Starger?
Yes.
I used to do a show with them, Swings and Misses. I was their co-host.
Yes. Wait, is that show over?
It ended about a year and a half ago. It got killed in the pandemic. It got killed in the pandemic. We're trying to bring some form of it back.
I thought you were just out of my feed. I thought Facebook was going, Jamie, you don't want this algorithm anymore.
They killed us.
Oh, dude, I love that show.
But they had mentioned you before, like they were friends with you. So it's like,
yes. God, that's hilarious. Yes.
Yeah, I was the third wheel on that show.
I love it because so you just let them talk about each other. And
I would just let them fight, and then I would act like a therapist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, isn't that what you do on Ralph's show? You just let him fight.
That's pretty much what I do with him too. Him and his demons, and I just talk him through it.
Hey, wait, I have one question.
Yeah.
Because what about Chappelle getting jumped? Did anyone reference this?
I saw that happen earlier, and I allegedly Chris Rock, as soon as he walked out, said, "Is that Will Smith?"
It's literally on tape. Like, but the guy had a toy gun, or not a toy gun. He had a fake gun on him that had a knife that could pop out.
Yeah, I don't know how he got it in the Hollywood Bowl.
Can we?
I have
can
no
we
idea
talk
how he got
about that for 1 second? Because to me,
that's Will
Smith's fault. Let me go downstairs because my wife's waiting to go to bed.
That's like if I walked into a courthouse with a nuclear bomb, but it's not a nuclear bomb. It was just a very sharp knife where you're like, the gun alone, you're gonna get flagged. You think you would? You know what? You should have an avocado that has a knife. Like the gun that then goes back to a knife is like you go 2 steps back.
Guys, it's just a fake gun. Let me in.
Worst weapon ever created.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. And then he got beat up by Jamie Foxx, so that was awesome.
He pulls the gun and he's like 20 feet away, and the guy's like, "Holy shit!" And he goes, "Click!" And he goes, "And I gotta come. Sorry, I gotta come way closer. This is gonna take a bit. Let me get over there so I can poke you."
Hold on a second. Just stay still.
Who creates? And it was made. It was like a gun that had a knife.
Dude, and he got the shit beat out of him.
Who hit him? Fox did.
All I heard.
Everybody hit him.
Yes, but Buster
fans were beating him up.
Yeah, Buster Rhymes went at him hard. Yeah.
Oh, you don't want that dude to bust some rhymes on you. That guy will mess you up.
Fox got him.
Eddie and I are gonna. We're teaching a comic self-defense course. We're doing
oh my god! You need to shoot that sketch.
It's an open mic. It's just an open mic. So what you do is there's an octagon, and you and you have to tell 3 jokes and fight. It's great. It's really somebody's gonna make one of those, Eddie, right?
Yeah. Oh, they're probably already been made. It's probably gonna be posted tomorrow.
Within hours. It was made. It's probably up this morning. Of like, it is a weird. I was talking to somebody else, and it's just like in the span of my lifetime, like Eddie, from what hecklers are like. It used to be, there'd be an occasional heckler.
Yeah.
It's all turned. It's about their brand, how to monetize it. I think the Kardashians, to their credit, geniuses with what they did. But it was really a sex tape that catapulted the whole thing.
Yeah. Mom sold a sex tape.
That girl's a billionaire off of this piece of shit. I can do the craziest shit I want, and it will do nothing but catapult me into.
Well, it seems now like before, if you were in if you were dealing with a heckler or just an unruly customer in the service industry, it was like if they weren't happy as an audience member, they would sit there quiet, or they would leave, or they may be belligerent drunk. But now it seems like when someone is offended or doesn't like what you're doing, they have to stop whatever is going on. They have to interject themselves into the situation.
When Jimmy and I did our live show in Sayre, it was 2 minutes in, and the woman started with Kayla and wouldn't let it go.
Yeah, it's like if people like, I don't like what's happening, I have to stop it, and that's what they do now. It's very weird.
To me, it's like, why don't they leave? I love comedy. I love stand-up comedy. I've never even people I didn't like. You don't say anything
it's not for everybody. You just leave.
Here's what I will tell you about the medium of comedy. Comedy is the one thing. Like, you wouldn't go to band club and you're like, well, what music's playing? No idea.
Yeah,
it's like jazz fusion. But you in your mind will go, oh, he's a comic. He's going to make me laugh. He's not. Comedy is very specific. I got up in front of kids. They were 21-year-olds in some hipster place in Hollywood Boulevard. I ate shit because I'm talking about raising 2 kids. Everyone's like, we don't have kids. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just that one medium where people think, well, he's going to be funny. He's not to you.
No.
It's a specific thing. You wouldn't go see band.
If you don't like horror movies, you wouldn't go to a horror movie. It's like, it's just like.
What was the name of the play? No idea. I just walked in cold and caught a play.
I'm just going to a random movie.
I just went to random. I need 2 seats in theater 2. What movie? Oh, I don't give a shit. Theater 2. That's my fast.
Dealer's choice, buddy.
Yeah.
No. But comedy's not like that, and people feel that they are part of the show. Like Eddie, you probably had it where people were like, I had to scream at people, yell at them, tell them to go fuck themselves. I'd throw them out, and then at the end of the show, they'll come up to me and go, "We had it.
Pretty great, right? Look what we did there. We didn't do anything there.
No, we didn't.
No.
Yeah, you ruined it for everyone.
It's a different era, man. It's really weird raising our kids in this era because,
Well, how are we supposed to? Like, that's the problem.
Back in the 30s and 40s, people wore suits and hats to
on airplanes. Like, what the hell?
On airplanes. I remember going to Vegas in the 80s, and you couldn't get in without a sport coat on. Now it's like people just don't give a fuck. It's about me. What do I get? It's not
I
about
left my house without a sport coat. My mom was like, "You're not going out." Like, and I'm talking about in high school. She was like, "No, you bring a sport coat." I'd be like, "I'm going to a party." It's like, "Yeah, bring a sport coat."
It's turned into the basest, the lowest common denominator, and the problem is also that you can see it. The people who really blow up online, it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the same joke we've seen a million times, but it gets 24 million views because it's comforting in some weird way to people, and it's just the simplest thing. I know. I watch it, you go, "Okay, boomer, shut the jack up." All right. All right, listen. That was me raising. If I wasn't raising kids, I wouldn't give a shit, but I am. So I'm trying to raise them in a way that I think we're all doing.
I really think this is a good idea.
Hey, Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. Oh, and Mother's Day, we're going to do a very special show.
Johnny, are you all right?
We're having Frank Zappa, Mothers of Invention. Darren Aronofsky will be showing a movie called Mother, and Samuel L. Jackson will be there to say "motherfucker." I believe. Maybe crazy someday.
That's a big get.
It's a big, honestly, big get. When he said he'll only say that word, he'll come on. He won't answer questions. He's just going to say "MRFer."
That's all you need, really.
That's the end of it. All right, we got to go. Jason, wrap this up, would you please?
Thank you guys. Thank our guests tonight, Eddie Pence and Brendan, everybody who's here. I'm not going through the names.
Brendan, Danny, when's the next? It doesn't matter. Everyone, we don't even need to tell people. Mandalorian's pretty big. They're gonna find it. I'm pretty sure.
Just pay attention to celebration between the 26th or the 29th.
All right, we'll keep
wink,
an
wink,
eye
You
out.
can find John Mixon picking up women at any of your local realtors' open houses.
Yep. And if you want to buy any of Eddie's action items, I believe some of them are for sale.
eBay.com/Eddie Pence.
Hey, definitely, everybody, seriously, the Ralph Report is awesome. And Eddie, you're hilarious on the thing. It's on Patreon. Go find the Ralph Report with Ralph Garman, the Garmy, and Eddie Pence. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. On the street. He's like 4 doors down from me, Eddie.
Oh, Ralph is?
Yeah.
I'm there every day. I'm there every day, 5 days a week.
There every day.
I think that's why I have my kids make sure somebody's with them at all times. Good. You do look like that guy.
Very much so. All right, that's it. We'll see you next time here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.